So I have a PhD in phosphate extraction, she said. Well, I know what a PhD is, but phosphate extraction? That sounded like a dental procedure to me. But telling me about her PhD wasn't a statement designed to impress. No, it was a tactic. The equivalent of saying, "Shut up, you know nothing," which is the quickest way to let me know that I am directly over the target. I'm a salesman by trade, and as such, I led this PhD on a conversational journey of my desire. As educated as she was, she had no idea what I was doing. I was gathering information and planting seeds, even though those seeds have little chance of taking root in her rocky and barren soul. So what was the conversation, you asked? It was regarding coal and the burning of fossil fuels. I had just told her that until something better comes along, you're never going to compete with oil, gas, and particularly coal. I explained that coal contains more energy exploitable in its raw form than any other readily available thing on this planet, that there is simply no technology currently available to replace what's plentiful and free and lying beneath our feet. All we have to do is extract it. This PhD I was speaking with is a member of a local organization of socialist busybodies whose goal is to destroy local industry. Front and center at her booth was a poster-sized photo of Metallico Corporation on fire. It happened just last week. It's the second fire on their grounds in the last 3 years. Accidents happen. Does anyone think that the destruction of property by fire is something that a business wants? Now, I watched that fire from across the river. It's directly across from my house. I think I was the first person to call 911. While I was looking through my binoculars, a neighbor came out and said, "Oh, great, we got to deal with this again." As if it was his house that was on fire. This fire is almost 2,000 feet as the bird flies. To get to it, you'd have to go down an 80-foot cliff, across the main channel of the Ohio River, and about 500 feet onto the island across the channel. We got to deal with this again? What exactly? You're standing here in the comfort of your front yard. You're not fighting the fire or losing your property. So what is it you're dealing with exactly? The last time they had a fire at this recycling facility, it was with tires. Tire fires are very smoky. Smoke did make it across the river and into our neighborhood. The very next day, someone from a law firm representing this clean air group came to the door in our neighborhood and offered free cleaning services, paid hotel stays, and HEPA air purifiers, top-of-the-line ones that retail for around $850. Some of my neighbors got 2 of these purifiers. I myself wasn't home at the time. But when I found out, I wondered, who's paying for this? Well, Metallico is, of course, the company that had the fire, but not directly. No, they're quite obviously being sued perpetually by this ambulance-chasing, industry-ending law firm that the Clean Air Group has on retainer. The irony is that Metallico is a recycling facility. Recycling. For even further irony, this PhD told me that she worked on Capitol Hill when she was just out of college and was upset that those working there had no interest in recycling under a recycling program that was set up for the Capitol Hill complex. When I pointed out the positive environmental impact of the recycling of metals, she blew it off. When I told her that countless hundreds or even thousands of poor people collect scrap routinely and sell it to Metallico for income to feed their families, she didn't care. When I told her that many people have careers at Metallico, she could care less. This was unsurprising to me. It wasn't surprising because this is the norm for well-indoctrinated college grads. A couple years ago, this same group was responsible for the closing of the Shenango Coke Works. Now, Shenango was a company that had operated in the same location for over 150 years. Many people who worked there their whole lives were thrown out of work, some very close to retirement. When I mentioned this fact, she said, "Yeah, that's unfortunate." Unfortunate? Unfortunate? It was the efforts of your group that resulted in the ruination of all those lives who were wrapped up in the Shenango Coke Works. Unfortunate indeed. It's sad, really. This woman that I was speaking with, this PhD, is a triple threat. She's attractive, she's fit, she's educated. Someone who has everything needed for success in life, in love, and in business. Everything, that is, except a soul. Apparently that fell out sometime during the intense indoctrination process that passed for education. Big degree, high IQ, but no humanity. She'd disagree, I'm sure of that. She made sure to bolster her anti-human argument by citing statistics about the decrease in breathing-related hospitalizations over the last 5 years in the Pittsburgh area. A study done by NYU, yes, highly credible indeed. A decrease in breathing-related hospitalizations in the age of COVID? Yeah, okay. Shenango wasn't the problem. Metallico isn't the problem. All the businesses targeted by your organization aren't the problem. No, ma'am. You are the problem. You and your attempts to fill the hole where your soul should be by advocating for the environment against the lives and livelihoods of people is anti-human. And it won't bring you a moment's peace. It's really unfortunate that we have so many highly educated people who lack perspective and empathy. It never occurs to people like this that their environmental advocacy hurts people, actual people, people that keep the lights on, the water running, and the gas flowing, average people who have dreams, aspirations, and, well, families, mouths to feed. You know, wisdom is defined as the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. I would suggest that this woman, as with most advocates for things that are harmful to others, lack all of those qualities that define wisdom. They lack the experience of being a worker in an industry targeted for cancellation by groups such as her. They lack the knowledge of the plight of others, and they lack the judgment that would generally preclude one from bringing intentional harm to another. When I ask about all of those people who lose jobs because of groups like yours, I found the answer absolutely disturbing. She said, well, those people will have to be taken care of. Can you imagine being this elitist? She is referring to something that actually has a name. You may have heard of it. It's called universal basic income. This idea that if you make your living in an industry that is deemed unfriendly to the environment, decided, of course, by some inexperienced PhD who lacks sound judgment, you'll be paid to sit at home and do nothing. You were gainfully employed. You were producing something for the world. But now, unwise, highly educated people will be taking over, and there's just no need for you anymore. Can you imagine being so disconnected from humanity that this is your plan? She would likely say, I'm against clean air and water. Meanwhile, who the hell is against those things? No one. What I am against is ending entire industries. What I am against is destroying the lives and livelihoods of actual people. What I am against is your incessant demands that we abandon fossil fuels when no viable alternative exists. But first and foremost, I am against the arbiters of arbitrary. Those who seek to play God, those who believe that they, through education or birthright, have the unique and entitled ability to pick winners and losers in this world. These are the new authoritarians. They want to eliminate our jobs, emasculate our men, and sterilize and sexualize all those children that manage to avoid their abortion mill. These are the new authoritarians, fanatics whose deeds have already ensnared and will eventually enslave us all. They're pulling all the stops as of late. It's become a religion, a false prophecy with millions of faithful water carriers. This new religion is perhaps the most dangerous anti-human agenda mankind has ever faced. But its face is not some big, ugly Bolshevik donning a hammer and sickle. No. It's an attractive, fit, highly educated 30-something with a hole where their soul should be.